Hello, people. I'm not as well lit as usual, but it's the weekend and it is so hot outside. I cannot possibly shut my curtains and put my lights on because we are at the start of a heat wave over here. Rare Saturday stream today. And fix the spreadsheet, yes. John, you're way too invested in that. Is it your game? Yeah, I am just going to be playing through as many games as I can get through from CollabJam over the next 2 hours. Got till 9:30 my time. Gonna work my way down from the least rated games, and I'll be doing what I did in the first stream. I'll be playing the games, commenting on them, and then I will be leaving my scores, but I'll do it off screen so that they don't, influence anyone else or whatever. So thanks for joining. Thanks for dropping in. Please leave the devs some feedback if you feel like it. And if not, feel free to just chat around about whatever. And had lots of positive feedback on the jam so far from people who had a good time with it. So thanks to everyone who's reached out and said something nice. I just think it's really nice to have like a specific learning goal, and not just have a theme for novelty's sake, but like a real reason that the jam exists. This is called A Way Out. It looks like it's going to be a spooky walking around with a torch kind of game, which I'm not totally averse to, but maybe this is why it's the least rated. Gets stuck. Oh yeah, this is the one that I couldn't get into the other day. Yeah, this is the one that never finishes loading. I don't see. This is a hard one to call because it's a web build and it looks like it could finish loading for someone else. I did disqualify a game that just flat out didn't run because I didn't want loads of people downloading it and wasting their time trying to run it. But when it's a web build and it just gets stuck, it's hard to tell if there's like a condition that would cause things to work for someone else. Okay. We're doing some dinos. So I saw Pangbot was streaming some games in the Discord earlier, and I tuned in and I wanted to watch, but it was mostly playing games that I'd already played in the previous stream. How are we doing for noise levels there? Let's have a look. Oh, that's feeling pretty great already. Yeah, so if I've got any games like that I haven't played by the end because they hung, I probably will do that. I'll probably just do a session where I just leave them on for a while. Oh, this is great. This is like Everything is Crab, but just purely dinosaurs. I love the little reticule and how you've made it suggest teeth with so few pixels. It's just 6 pixels arranged to look like teeth. You're gonna fight me? If I let you? Or are you friends? There's a little bit of jank around the pixel art. We've got shadow here and we don't have it on the other dinosaurs, but the animations are lovely. These guys need to like occasionally, when they're not going, like stop walking and the animation stops just to make it feel alive. But there's some really nice elements here. I love the fact that you've got that kind of desaturated quality to the grass in the background that makes everything stand out. Even though it's kind of all muddy, dingy colors a little bit, it works because you've kind of faded the background out. Although, oh, we're gonna evolve. Yeah, bigger dino now. Excuse me, do not take my nuggies. These are my dino nuggies. Look, the reticule is upgraded to 4 teeth with 2 pixels each now. And the kind of game feel you get from the snapping of the reticule when you bite stuff is... There's something really satisfying about that. Can I eat the plants as well? No. I must eat what nature has decided I must eat. Can I eat an eggie, though? Oh, I forgot I could sprint. What's this one called? Kin to Kings. Yeah, really lovely visual design. I love what you've done with the interface here. I'm not sure what these are. Ah, okay, are these my siblings? There's a red one, a turquoise one, a purple one, and a yellow one. Yeah, they're like... They're almost the Ninja Turtles colours. It was great. I mean, this is gameplay wise very similar to what Everything is Crab is, but it's also a... they follow? Okay, they follow me around and they evolve with me, but because it's a much more specific niche of animals, it means that if you wanted to turn this into a bigger game, you wouldn't need quite as much variety as Everything is Crab, because people will be accepting of the fact that, well, it's dinosaurs, so we're not going to have like mammal evolution and stuff in it. It's a good example of how the theme of the game can suggest how big the content scope needs to be. Like, yeah, I'm a kind of large raptor-sized thing, but I'll still eat the occasional bug if I need to. Do you guys eat stuff autonomously if I let you? 2 of my bros are dead. You gonna eat some stuff? This does feel like it could be a full game, yeah. Because it's a slightly different art niche as well. So if the developers somehow haven't played Everything is Crab, and this is just like independent of that, it's a slightly different art niche because it's a more serious art style. You know, this looks like could have been a late 90s Jurassic Park game. But I think it just depends on what you mean by full game, because every time I see some sort of bullet heaven Vampire Survivors-y type game, and it's more than $2-3, I'm always thinking, well, you know how much stuff is in Vampire Survivors, right? You know how much gameplay you get from that game, and it's really hard to compare that way. And then I think people try and compete on polish. So they go, okay, well, we're not going to have as many things to unlock as in that game, but we're going to make all of the characters animated. And it's like, well, I don't feel like that's adding value in the place where it matters. The thing I feel like the feel of the attacks in this is like a really nice little bit of... yeah, just that feels like it's quite a strong, unique selling point. Okay, I can call my bros to me. I need to remember to use the shift and the E moves. I mean, I think having the game focused on carnivorous dinosaurs is a good shout anyway, because it just feels really nice to do the snappy snap. And I think that if you make a game like this where you're sort of... we've got a new attack. I think you make a game like this where the fantasy is being the big scary carnivorous dinosaur, then you don't want to you know, you don't necessarily want to make a game where you can be every dino. Is everyone fighting now? Are they all enemies? So many snackies. The reticule distance changes as your dinosaur upgrades, which means the skill feels like it's moving around. And I like that kind of thing in games. Like, you've got an upgrade, but now the weapon feels slightly different to use. We had that in the other day with I think I only played that one in the Discord, but the one where you had the blue and red things you had to fight with the blue and red gun. And like, if you upgraded one of the guns far enough, it became a minigun, and then it had spin-up time, which made it kind of more awkward to use. And yeah, I'm a big fan of an upgrade that sort of makes you have to relearn a skill a little bit, you know? Come on, mate. I'll have you. I really bit off more than I could chew with this one, didn't I? No steggy. Allow it, bruv. Yeah, duochrome. Yeah, there's some great ideas in that one. It didn't all feel great from a, you know, just... But the way that it ended up playing when it was all together, and kind of the way that it made you have to think to play it was kind of compelling. I do one more go at this because I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time being a little snappy dino. I know that roaring to my bros calls them to me. Does it do anything else? Does it make them better at fighting or anything? Bros, stop fighting. Just come and eat some delicious... Stop trying to fight really big dinosaurs, you idiots. I know you have tiny bird brains. And I know your AI was programmed in only a couple of weeks, but we've got some snackies to eat. Yeah, I love a slightly cursed upgrade that makes the game harder. It's such a more interesting way of making the late game of a game harder than just making the enemies tougher or whatever. You want a little ambient music to go with the chomps. You know what I'll do? I'll get Epidemic Sound up for when we've got a game without any music and we can do some DJing. There we go. It's all ready. It's all ready. I really like that. That was quite Moorish. I want to continue playing it. I can't. It was very self-explanatory. I would absolutely play a longer version of that game. I appreciate the art style. I like how it feels to do. Sounds probably the weakest area of the sound, just in terms of like the lack of music, and some of the sounds were a little bit repetitive, but I really like that. I mean, I don't necessarily have any advice for the dev team. What do you feel that you learnt from the process? Because that felt like a very well scoped game for the jam, you know, because the whole point of the make the game sort of intuitive and self-explanatory brief, it wasn't really there as like a kind of creative thing to try and make you think of a unique game. It was just trying to get people to focus on what really matters for like getting the core of a game across. And I feel like your game did that very, very well. It's very easy to play it and go, oh yeah, that animation could stop there, or it would be nice to have collision with the trees or whatever. But you know all of those things already. They're just things you decided was out of the scope for the game jam. So I feel like if you wanted to take that and make it into a bigger game, you've got all of the ingredients. Yeah, that's... To be fair, I think Gnar hit onto something good there, which is like, if you don't want to keep working on that game, see what else you can make with the assets you've got, you know? Keep building up a library of dino stuff. Manic Maintenance. Like the visual style of this. Don't know how easy it's going to be to see what's going on in game once we get into it, but I like how it looks. Kind of pulls me in a little bit. Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe a little bit overcomplicated for what we're doing here. Okay, are these going to be missile launchers? We've got a base. We've got stuff flying at us. We've got stuff we can build. This is like a... Okay, yeah, I see what we're doing here. And then... when the electricity goes high enough, I can build new things that I couldn't build before. I think that's how it works. This is like, it looks like a kind of randomized tile set that we've got in the background, which is kind of cool. What's this? That's going to give us a new gun. There's a cool little spatial puzzle emerging out of how these bits fit together or don't, which I think is... could be mildly annoying, but it's adds a dimension to it. Oh, I need to copy the thing at the top. What's that? You see these power things going out. So I think a thing that this is suffering from a little bit... bonk. I think you've got some sort of puzzly elements here where... So I can pause this for a moment. I'm just going to stop for a moment and come back to it because it's hard. It's so intense, it's quite hard to speak over. And that's partly the sound design, and it's partly because of how frequently I'm getting attacked. So you've done something quite interesting here, which is like, you've made a reasonably intuitive little defense game, but you've also gone slightly down that route of like trying to use the theme of the jam to make something that's a little bit obtuse and is like a puzzle you need to work at. And I think those things could fit together, but the waves are coming way too frequently for that to work. So there's the mini games where you are like flicking switches, bonking the little computer on the head, which is incredibly charming, working out how to build your base. And it seems like there's some grid puzzle based on the little blue light up stuff that's happening on the turrets and how you flow electricity around the base as well. But the waves are coming too quickly for me to be able to move into that kind of processing mode in my brain and get away from the freaking out over the waves thing. So if you think of something like Factorio, where you do get attacked in that. But it's not happening all the time, so it allows your brain to sort of move between the fight or flight mode and the planning mode, and they're a little bit too overlaid here, which is kind of making it hard to sort of feel like I'm able to puzzle through the thing you want me to work out. Kind of like it though. It's a little bit of a brain burner. So this is the power station, I think, and does that do some special kind of connection because it's connected to there and there? Sort of hard to say, really. Maybe if I... Is there a way I can... Yeah, I don't know. Oh, that gives us more power. Just straight up more power. Sometimes you just got to bonk. Sometimes you just got to bonk your robot on the head. Oof. Too many lads. Too many lads. I don't like that this mini game sort of still moves the camera around in the background. That feels pretty bad. I like the fact that we don't know which one we're going to have to deal with when we first click on a broken thing. Oh, everyone's had... There's been quite a few Space Team likes come out of this. This is a strangely good minigame. It doesn't feel like it should be, but it works pretty good. More missiles, please. Give me that damage output. It's giving me the bubble wrap feeling. Satisfying to pop these dudes. Very good sound effect choice. Maybe slightly annoying to listen to on the stream, but it's working for me. Okay, so the blue stuff on here is just showing you how close they are to upgrading, which is a little bit confusing because it makes it look like an element that's to do with the kind of spatial building puzzle. Definitely hitting the point where the game is having a hard time. Yeah, I could see a version of this with, like, you know, multiple of the way more of these mini games, and they sort of like level up in difficulty as the game goes on, and it gets kind of more and more bizarre. I think you could have a field day with this. And yeah, Galaxy Trucker is a good reference point. Never played it. I've watched videos of people playing it. Looked like a lot of fun. Never knew anyone who owned a copy. Galaxy Trucker is a real-time board game where you have to like put tiles together to make your spaceship, and then everyone else judges your spaceship and tells you whether or not it's going to fall apart in space. And you can like knock the pieces apart, and then it's just gonna explode. Yeah, I mean, part of what we're experiencing here is because you balance entirely on wave size, and there's no sort of like upgrading of the enemies so that we have like, oh, now we have a red one that has 10 times as much health or something, because that allows you to have well, it kills two birds with one stone, because it allows you to have a visual progression so the player feels tougher because now they can kill the big red enemy, but it also means that you can have fewer enemies in total. Because what you're really doing is batching 10 enemies worth of health into one object, you know? It's what we were talking about with the zombie game the other day, where what they do, if you are ever DM a D&D game and you want to do a massive battle, like you want to do like a Lord of the Rings style battle, you put your goblins together into like groups of 10 and treat them as one unit with the health of like 8 goblins or something. Probably not 10 goblins, or it'll just take forever. But intuitive and self-explanatory, yes. Would I buy a larger commercial version of this game? I'm going to be honest, possibly not with that art style, but if it had a few more iterations on it and there were clearly like varieties of enemies and different stuff to build, I think you could really lean into the kind of manic, weird set of WarioWare minigames things and have like more and more of them. And it could even be that, you know, maybe there's an enemy type that is like a hacker, and if they touch your base, they're the thing that upgrades the mini games and makes the mini games harder. So your mini games are like your kind of System Shock Shodan type AI making your life harder. But that's part of the damage that the waves do to you, is if certain types of enemies get to your base, they make the mini games harder, or they introduce new mini games because they're like, you know, making your system AI go bad on you or whatever. But yeah, I really like that. The music, a little bit irritating, is going to be when you're kind of looping stuff. Interactions sort of missing some polish, but you know, it's a two-week game jam. I really like that game as a game, as an activity, and if it hadn't slowed down towards the end, I would have wanted to carry on playing it, I think. The only thing that, if I wasn't kind of rushing through games for a stream and I was just sitting here playing them, I would have played that for twice as long if it didn't have that kind of technical slowdown towards the end. Pocket changed. Even wizards feel the pain of inflating food prices. Well, that's an intriguing sentence, if I ever heard one. Is that the wizard? The wizard goes to get a burgie. He says, "Excuse me, I saw a burgie on the TV and now I wish to acquire one using one of my big yellow coins." Yeah, I mean, she's just not doing any emotional labor right now, is she? She's like, no. I have 6 coins, but 2 of them are death coins. And 4 of them are Benjamin Franklin coins. What is happening here? This is wild. I simply wished... Oh, okay. I think the thing that's confusing me is the wizard is from an olden fantasy setting, but he's brought his, like, modern American money in. We're trying to, like, transmute it into a big gold coin so we can have a burgie. But there's something a little bit confusing about the types of money involved that I'm finding. I don't really understand what the puzzle is. I think the takeaway here though is that even though the puzzle is not, I'm not getting anywhere with it, and I wouldn't say it's intuitive, the sort of toy factor of the sound and the animations and how many little like flares there are on things feels like enough to pull me through the process of trying to work out the puzzle, which when you give people something that's really impenetrable and it's not fun to just mess around with, they're less likely to try and work it out. Whereas here, it's kind of fun to just mess around with. So even if I don't really work out what the game is asking me to do, I can have fun trying to get there. I mean, it feels like someone made an abstract puzzle and then worked out how to theme it later on. Because there's nothing for me to look at that is... It feels like it's supposed to be entirely trial and error based, and I'm not sure what enjoyment that's supposed to give me. So I think the... Am I just supposed to keep randomizing them until I get them all on the not a skeleton side? I mean, if it's... Yeah, we had the same... If this is supposed to be a mastermind puzzle where you're supposed to get the sequence, yeah, I mean, we're just trying to get them all flipped to the right side. Which is like... I don't know. I think that's how many tries it took me. It's going to say, you got a D rating. I think you just have to have them all on the side that doesn't have the skull on. So I am not really sure what the game is. I think all of the kind of UX and the interactions here are really nice. But yeah, I mean, flipping 5 things and reflipping them until they're on the right side, and then giving me a results screen as if there was some skill involved in that is a bit strange. It's a game of working out what the game is, and then it's a game of chance. Well done, you did better at the game because you knew what it was this time. Yeah, I feel like the weakest area in this is the kind of challenge or puzzle interesting or compelling. I mean, no, it's just random chance once you know what the game is. But I like the set of interactions as like how they feel to do. I like the responsiveness of the icons, the kind of sound that the clerk is making. All of that stuff was really nice. I'm not sure it was a self-explanatory game, and I think part of the problem is that because once you know what the game is, there's a big kind of quality of like, what is that? Is that what the game is? And that made it hard to think of the game as being self-explanatory because my brain didn't want to get there. My brain didn't want to accept that that's what the game was, because flipping 5 coins until they land on the side that you want them to me, is not a game. So even though it wasn't really intuitive, that was made worse by the fact that the quote-unquote game was more of just a challenge of, once you know what this is, do you get the random thing. But yeah, beautiful. I think, you know, whoever worked together on this, you should definitely make more stuff together. Because you did a good job in terms of the production of it. But game design wise, I think you need to think about like what you want people to get out of the game. And I definitely came away from that feeling impressed by your sort of world building and how the animation worked and how the sounds were done and stuff like that. But it wasn't really mentally stimulating as I would expect a game to be. So I definitely wouldn't buy a longer commercial version of this game, but I liked the kind of world building and everything. So it's one of those things where I would vouch for the team as a studio, but not the specific product that they made here. Game feel, responsiveness, pretty good. Mood, atmosphere, pretty good. Sound design and music, pretty good. Darksight next. Hi, anyone who's joined midstream. I'm going to be on for another hour and 20 minutes just playing through as many of these as I can get through, and then I will do another one of these streams later on in the week. It is half term here, so the kids are off school. I will be working my way through the rest of the Jam games as quickly as I can over the next week, but it will be at unusual times because of that. But you know, sometimes that just means different people get to join the stream each time, because I usually stream at times that are not good for Americans. What's going on here? We've got some cool color stuff. I can fire a projectile that is also my light and my only way of seeing. I can jump. I can get murdered by an eel. An eel of the void. I've got checkpoints that light up, and there's another eel. It's a good idea. Yeah. And you've done variations on the theme, so it's like, okay, what are the other dangerous things that can hurt us if we can't see properly? And some of them are, you know, they just bite you straight away, and some of them push you off ledges. It's a cool set of concepts. It does feel like a kind of game concept that would probably be more interesting in 3D. Oh, I think I'm not supposed to actually let them out of the cage, but who leaves a cage of bats just lying around? But yeah, this is a cool idea, and the art is quite minimalistic, but I like the mood that it gives. It's very kind of slightly creepy. I don't know how I died that time. I think this thing that's coming along the side to make me rush feels a little bit tuned to someone that's played the game too much. This is making the game way too hard. There's this kind of like dark lava that's falling down the side, and it gradually catches up with you, and that's to sort of force you to move through the level quick, which is a good idea. But it's just one of those parts of the game that feels like, okay, you've playtested your game a lot, and I keep forgetting not to shoot those guys. You've playtested your game a lot, and it's like too easy for you, so you've added this element in to hurry the player up, and it's probably a little bit too much for someone in a game jam that's not playing something for lots and lots of tries. Like the idea, like the art style. Yeah, jump. We could do with some sort of just a slightly different. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Mega Man approach to platformer sprites. You can literally just have a jumping sprite for going up, a falling sprite for when you go down, and you can do quite a lot with that. Just, am I touching a surface and moving upwards? Am I touching? Am I not touching a surface and moving upwards? Am I not touching a surface and moving downwards? And just have that in your state machine and a different sprite for each of those, and you've got like a much more dynamic feeling jump. I did find that with Golem Gourmet recently when I changed a couple of sprites, and it made the character controller genuinely feel different, even though I hadn't changed anything about the code. It was just the relative size of things and the directions they were leaning in and all of that kind of stuff. It really made the game feel different to control. Oh, bats. Sometimes it feels like the bats kill you by pushing you, and sometimes it feels like they actually damage you. There we go. I think if you wanted to expand, if you wanted to do something bigger with this concept, I think making it a little bit clearer how you die and what kills you would be essential as well. Like maybe what you could do is like fade out the light and show your character in red and show the things that killed them in red or something like that, so you get like a nice strong pain indicator, and it's also highlighted for you what killed you, because there's this moment where sometimes one thing pushes you into another thing and you can't quite see what happened, and it in a bigger game when the player's trying to learn what actually happened and like rectify their mistakes and stuff, you really would need to highlight that a little bit more. It's cool. I like it. Yeah, make it much easier at the start. Very intuitive and self-explanatory though. Shokudai. I think a tweak that could make the orb mechanic work really well in that last one is having it so that if you just tap the orb, it doesn't go very far, and if you like hold and tap it, it gets like a longer arc. Because then you could deliberately throw it close to you to not trigger bats and stuff like that, and just have basically having fewer mechanics but more variation in how you can deploy a specific mechanic. You can get a lot of mileage out of that, like having a, you know, gradually increasing power for firing the orb as you hold down the mouse button or whatever would be a good advancement on that core mechanic without adding anything else to the game, you know. Who's this big boy? Space. We Westin. We're getting all the platformers right now. The little Mario ghost following me around. Oh, and when my candle goes out, they're gonna eat me. Ah, hate when that happens. We can light candles like that, then they can't get us. Little bit unforgiving there. Feels like the safety window is a little bit narrower than the visuals suggest. Okay, you can light the candles and you can relight yourself from the candles as well. Relight my candle. I really like this character. He looks kind of fed up, which is quite a charming sort of characteristic for a character in this sort of game where you're failing a lot. Just like, I hate Mondays, you know? Yay! It's an Elden Ring pot that got an upgrade. Went to the job center and got reassigned. Yeah, what we want you to go into this dungeon and walk around being a mobile light source. Why is it not working? Yeah, basically this state is when you can't light anything anymore, but it looks like you can. It's just a little bit unforgiving and feels a little bit misleading in terms of what the visuals are telling you and what is allowed in the game at that stage. I like that one. I'm not going to play it anymore because it's being horrible to me and it's bullying me. But I do like it. It was intuitive and self-explanatory. I think it could be worked into a larger game. It's a little bit harder to see how you do that one. I do like the art and the visual style. The responsiveness and game feel is a little bit low, and that was partly because it felt really like the threshold for how you could lean over and light things felt a little bit unforgiving, and I would have just had a much bigger hitbox on that. It felt good when it happened, and that kind of miscommunication of when you were in the state when things could get you and you couldn't light things anymore. You know, the sprite still has a full candle, a lit wick, but the shadow just goes down and you're vulnerable and you can't light anything anymore. I like that. Candid Candler. An urgent matter. This is Pang and Cabbage's game. Oh, wow. An urgent matter. Are we going to be a slime? Help our slime friend complete their mission. No. You're making me click there? Okay. Oh. Okay, I like the bullet time. I feel like a little visual tweak when we're going into slowdown mode, like desaturating the background or something, could have been good. the changing sound effects on this. This is cute. Oh. This guy hates Mondays as well. Boing. Playing a sort of scrolling danger platformer with clicking feels bizarre. It's definitely self-explanatory though. It does feel very Newgrounds. It's like, what if someone made Pac-Land on Newgrounds and you had to click things and you weren't allowed to use a controller? I will complete my mission. I will jump into this gate. You should have given me some health pickups. Just 1 in 3 piggies should give me like a sandwich or something. Because I'm on the edge of my seat now. So I don't have enough health left to take 1 hit. The sounds are great. Oof. Why is the arrow the only thing in the game that's Pixar? It's like one asset in the whole game that is pixel art, and it's that arrow. I don't know if you're getting the toilet flushing sounds. That's it. We won. Yeah, unfortunately, it's quite hard to get the game audio right on this because they're all different, so... Is it an endless loop? Amazing. An urgent matter. I love it. I love it. You made a whole... You made... You just made the whole game a gag. Mr. Balloon. Mr. Balloon is a platformer where you must find all 3 stars and make it. You told us You've told us exactly what to do in the game description. I'm not sure that that warrants a disqualification, but it's a little bit close. Yeah, sorry folks. It's because they're web games and the volumes of the games are completely inconsistent. So if I raise the volume of Chrome enough for you to hear the quiet ones, it's going to be shockingly loud on the ones that have the correct volume. See, I've got Chrome all the way up. And you don't want... That's a louder game, and that's crazy loud on the stream already. There we go. So yeah, the quiet ones are just quiet. That's... Okay. Okay, I've got a shift button that lets me do that, which is quite fun. I like the way that the balloon compresses when we do that. We can double jump. We could go off the screen, okay. The classic. That's the classic thing that we all know happens when a balloon dies. When balloons die, they multiply. Hell yeah. I don't really know what the top icon is representing on the right-hand side. But also, I don't care to learn it either. Huh. Mr. Balloon's... There's more to Mr. Balloon than I originally thought there might be. He's got some tricks up his sleeve, this balloon guy. I think out of the platformers we've seen today, this might be the best one as just a pure platformer in terms of how it feels to do. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, there's a biblically accurate angel in here. Mr. Balloon is the way and the light. Blessed is he who in the name of poppiness and sphericality shepherds the poppable through the valley of spikes. For he is truly his brother's balloon. Hell yeah. We got it. Mr. Balloon is the guy. He knows a thing or two about a thing or two. I think the level design is actually pretty good. These segments are all like... It's obviously very abstract, but every room has a particular layout and it makes it quite easy to remember how everything joins together. So I've played quite a lot of, like, sort of my first Metroidvania type level design things, and a lot of the time you sort of, it all turns into sludge, but this is all very, like, memorable as a layout, which is quite surprising, because... I just don't know what's going on here. Oh, I finished it with 3 stars. There we go. I'm the king of Mr. Balloon. Thank you very much. I won, and I feel good, and that means I feel more like giving them more stars on the voting, and that's not fair, but that's what will happen when people play your game. No, it's not true. But was it intuitive and self-explanatory? Well, I didn't work out what the top icon meant, and there was nothing to tell me which thing to press to make them do stuff. Would I buy a longer commercial version of this game? Probably not. I don't play a lot of platformers that are just sort of pure Twitch with nothing else, but out of the platformers I've played in this jam, that one actually felt really great, and I think maybe that was because I was surprised, because obviously the art is quite utilitarian. I've been using that word a lot lately, but it felt quite good to move around and learn the space, and it was very responsive, and we compare that to our, like, floaty Wizard in the Dark earlier, where it was like, okay, we can't animate them, so let's not give them legs. That didn't feel good because it didn't have the feeling of pushing up off the ground, whereas Mr. Balloon did, and when you did the air dash, so compressed a little bit. You don't need an animation, but you do need different frames to show which state in the state machine your character is in. That can provide quite a lot of feedback even without having animations or fluid animations. Mr. Balloon, you know, he just has just enough swag to make it feel good to move him around. I appreciate the art visual style, not so much. Felt good. Mood atmosphere, I think that was alright. Well done, Team Balloon. Gravity Shift. How many games have ever been made with this name and a concept being something to do with modifying gravity, I wonder. It's one of those concepts that comes up over and over again. Whimsy and Wonder. I think I tried to play this and it didn't run before, so let's see what happens. Hold jump to float. Oh yeah, that makes sense. I didn't need it in the end though. I did the no float run. A classic challenge in Mr. Balloon. You haven't really beaten Mr. Balloon until you've beaten Mr. Balloon on the no float run. Okay, what's going on here? Ah. What is happening? I don't know, but it's kind of cool. I don't think this is supposed to be a horror game. I don't think this is supposed to be a horror game. Maybe I could. Maybe I read Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft over this. The ball has got stuck this time, and it won't stop circling the. Can I restart the game? My little ball launching guy's gone, and the ball is just going round and round. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more try. I'm a cat. I'm a little cat this time. But now it's not a... But now it's a white void. What is happening? Okay, let me... I'm gonna... refresh it. I want to see the big octopus again. Where's my big octopus gone? It gives me a different animal every time, but now the rest of the game won't load in. I was just about to read Dagon over the top of it to give it a real kind of nautical horror feel. Maybe if can I do a... Open it in a different thing. Maybe it will run properly first time. Maybe it's only the second time you run it, all of the graphics decide not to exist. No. Just, you can play it once, and then after that, you can never have graphics again. Random game generator. So, the first couple of minutes when I was able to shoot the stuff, it was basically like the game is saying, hey, aim this thing, right? Aim this thing. And the thing that happens after you shoot the thing just bears no relation to what you would expect. Because it doesn't follow any of those lines. What is this? Sometimes you're a donkey. And you shoot your balls into the void. Hey Marsan, I'll try not to swear too much. I have had some gin, I must warn you, because it's Saturday. And we're streaming on a Saturday. I'm sorry that Game Jam, the balls game is not working. It's not so broken that I want to disqualify it, but I can only vote based on the minute of it that I actually got to play. Was it intuitive and self-explanatory? Certainly not. Would I buy a longer commercial version of this game? Perhaps, if it was deliberately meant to be an obtuse art game. I do appreciate the art and visual style. I don't appreciate the game feel because I didn't really get to do much. I like the mood and the atmosphere. I like it when randomly selected cute animals fire a ball at a terrifying sea monster. I appreciate the music. I don't find the challenge compelling because I don't really understand what skill I was supposed to be using or how I was meant to know how to get better at it, particularly after the graphics for the game went away forever. Gravity shift time. I will be honest with you here. Doing things with gravity is such a common Game Jam theme that it makes me roll my eyes a little bit because it's such a common thing for people to sort of play around with during a Game Jam. And it's not so much that playing around with gravity isn't an interesting game mechanic. It's like putting it in the title of the game as if it's a unique selling point. Because I think anyone who's done sort of 3, 4, 5 Game Jams will have seen a game where it has gravity in the title. And Feels good though. This guy feels good to move around. Feels good to move around. Yeah, Amo, I'm sorry it didn't work. I mean, it worked for a minute, and then after the first... I managed to shoot 3 balls off, and then after that I tried to refresh it because it got stuck, and the ball kept going round and round in the center. But I didn't... The 3 balls I managed to shoot just didn't feel like they were... I had much control over them, because the lines that it was showing me for the guiding didn't really have anything to do with what happened after I launched the ball, so I couldn't really work out what I was supposed to be doing. Gravity does rule, I just don't think it's like, you know, Half-Life isn't called Gravity Gun Man, you know? Yeah, okay, this is good. This is good. We can pick stuff up. We've got a gravity gun in a platformer. It works pretty well. So did that dropped... When we did that dropped the box down, did it? Oh, and we can pull that down. Okay, interesting. Puzzle design feels really good in this already. Also, look at the responsiveness of that. Of like, you can... That's great. It's a really good toy. The way the gravity gun in this works feels like you've put a lot of thought into how that's executed. Kind of looks a little bit like a BG. This guy. Ha 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 ha. Gravity gun. Gravity gun. Ah. Huh. There's a really cool toolkit of objects here. We can do the gravity gun through that glass. Quite a ramp up in puzzle difficulty quite quickly though, but I'm liking this. Yeah. It's good. Rare game with gravity in the title W. Oh no, not science spikes. Ah. This is great. This would be really hard to dev to use a joystick. I don't know if it has a mode for that, but it's very good. Very good. It is Fez vibes, yeah. I think it's quite hard to make, and people are going to be like, but Hollow Knight, I think it's quite hard to make platformers feel good with like a almost realistically proportioned human. They've done quite a good job of making that work here. I mean, he's not fully chibi, but... I donked myself on the noggin for science. Gonna have to take it with me, aren't I? For it is my cube that is also my companion. Can you fly if you stand on a box and move it? I don't know, but I dropped my cube in the void. You can momentarily fly if you stand on a box and move it. Which would be funny if it's like an advanced strat that you have to deliberately do later on. Yeah, having to get that box all the way through the level. It's a good proof of concept, but it's way too hard, way too quickly for a game that hasn't given us lots of training in how to use these mechanics. It's great though, but yeah, this feels like it. If this was a full game, this would be like, this is how difficult I would expect it to be, like 75% of the way through, you know? Not being gentle with us at all. Hey, Best Law, thanks for joining. Yeah, getting the Tim Kaine shout out was absolutely insane. Like, I watched Tim, but Fallout was really the first IP I ever really got nerdy about the creation of. I played Fallout 1 and 2 when I was in my late teens, and they were already a few years old then. It was already something that you would have thought of as a retro game. And when Fallout 3 was coming out, when Bethesda were making Fallout 3, that was the first time I really followed the development of a AAA game as it happened. And I was on the No Mutants Allowed forums, like watching people complain about how Bethesda were going to mess it up. And maybe they did in some ways or whatever. But that was really the first time that I've been like following the development of a game and like thinking about, oh, what would it mean if they changed it in this way? What would it mean if they changed it in that way and stuff? And I wouldn't say it necessarily informed my design thinking or something, but I think you have these moments where video games move from being just like a magical thing that exists to you sort of realizing that they're made by people. And that's kind of part of what learning design development is about. And these will stand out in your memory of your time of engaging with games. And that was one of them for me. And the other ones are just like weird times when you notice the sort of technical limitations of games. Like, oh, don't know how to do that last one. Like for me, that was like playing GoldenEye with my friends and realizing that the level could only have so many bullet holes in a level before it started replacing them. Like trying to work out how many bullet holes you could spawn, how many bullet hole decals they would draw on the wall before it stopped adding new ones. You have these little moments in your life where that sort of take you towards doing game development, and some of them are just like being like, oh, did you know this was made by people? And I don't know, maybe that's a little bit different for someone growing up now because you're exposed to so much media that either does explain how these things technically work or how they're made, or pretends to, one or the other. And there's a lot of that now, but when I was a kid there wasn't, or if there was, I didn't have access to it. You can double jump? Oh yeah, you can. Not an obvious thing for a BG to be able to do. My gravity gun was still going and pushed the, pushed the other platform away as I jumped onto it. But it is that kind of level of frustration where because the character feels nice to move, my tolerance for the frustration is a lot higher. And it makes me want to retry. I think the problem that I have with like rage gamey type difficult games is they don't feel good to do. So the feeling of failure is just like totally unrewarding because there's nothing that's like inherently nice about moving the character around in the first place. So bring that back down. Okay, I'm going to have to do this in stages, I think. Whoop, boop. Yeah, Plants vs. Zombies. I feel that's like a canonical game that people should understand about. Yeah, if you feel like it's your point, you want to your fault, you want to fail again. Yeah, exactly. Really important thing about designing difficult skill-based games. Players want to feel like it was their fault. They want to feel like they learnt from the failure. Excuse me. Can I go on the light? Oh, okay. This doesn't look like a platform. That really threw me off then. Just doesn't look like a hard enough edge. And I didn't get the box here. Is it retrievable? I'm going to do it. It's so tricksy. No, you can't fly with the game. The physics of the game has already accounted for the fact that people are going to try and fly and be sneaky. What I think I can do is I can jump like that and then get the box from here. So the variety as well of like being able to try at a slightly different time each time, that adds like softens the failure because you can sort of do it with a slightly different skill expression the second time. You think of games where you're retrying the same difficult thing over and over again. If the thing that you're required to do is exactly the same and there's no alternative way of doing it, it's going to feel boring to retry it. Whereas this, you can do it slightly different ways each time, which is a nice quality to go for in a skill-based game. What is going on here? I don't trust this at all. I really don't trust this. This is... Sorry, but when I'm on glass, I do kung fu. Does the lift not work because I didn't turn something on? I don't understand. Sandu said, are Plants vs. Zombies design choices only helpful in strategy games, or is there more to it than that? So for me, the thing that makes Plants vs. Zombies special is they took a more complicated tower defense genre and they sort of casualized it, and the sort of way the game works is just in the title of the game. You know, you can tell how everything in the game is going to work by the fact that it's Plants and Zombies, and it's a really nice example of like making the theme explain the whole game. You know, the title is the theme, really, but the fact that these are the things that stay stationary and these are the things that move. Zombies, you can kind of assume they're going to be the bad guy and the plants are going to be the good guy. It's just sort of all there in the theme. And that was Gravity Shift, which was a very underwhelming title to me, but the game was great apart from getting stuck there. Intuitive and self-explanatory, yes. Would I play a longer version of that? Yes. Art style, pretty great. Feels great to play. Mood and atmosphere is good. Yep. I'm ranking that one pretty high on my little secret scores. Yeah, the levels are way too difficult, way too quickly, but I think it's okay for a jam. Can't nap. Play in browser. Oh, look at these guys. Look at these little cat puzzle pieces. Oh, so nice. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, so we start... This is kind of what I was talking about before. We start with a few that are so simple you can't fail, right? And we let people just sort of learn the basic interaction of the game first. Right, they're doing a good job of that here. Make the starting of the game so simple we can't fail. Just let us learn how the UX of like the controls and everything works. A puzzle. That's a great alternative title for this. Oh, that's really lovely. The way that the cats are drawn into the different shapes is just incredibly charming as well. Oh, we're adding them to our collection as well. There's like a little kind of deck builder element to it. Except in this case, it's like a negative deck builder where you don't really want more. And you keep going until you're stuck, I guess. And I think I am stuck. Okay, I don't... Yeah, I mean... Okay, I failed. She's got her cups of coffee because she couldn't sleep. Can you rotate? I think you can, actually. I did see a... What's that? Okay. Yeah, you right-click to rotate. This is the cat side of the bed. That little... The thing I like about this as well is just like how charming it is the moment you first see each cat. I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and it's a very different style of game, but I've been playing Ball X Pit, and there are so many... in Ball X Pit, you unlock these different balls that you fire. They're different magical balls. And you can like merge them to upgrade them to different evolutions and stuff. And there are so many combinations where it's like, what happens if I put the vampire one with the ice one? What happens if I put the poison one with the wind one? And there are just so many moments of delight in the first, I don't know, 5 hours of that game, of just seeing what the combinations are of when you get the things. And if you take the time with your theming, and even if it's just an art thing of like gradually drip feeding these little moments of seeing a new thing, you can get quite a lot out of that, I think. Oh, why did I get the big stretchy boy? If you overlap with the lady, you can place the coffee as well. Okay. I feel like I should be trying to get the full variety of cats, even though that might not be optimal. Strategically optimal. Oh, look, we've got a nice tightly packed side over here. Did the art on this? This is Null Space and Saw Hand. Oh, I think we're on the verge of starting to get some coffee cups now. Oh, might still be able to. Okay. I somehow still got through that one. Is cats organized neatly? Is that a game that already kind of does this? Oh yeah, it's the same concept. Although, you know what? Although this looks great, I do really like the way that these are drawn. I love the way that these illustrations fit the space. I think I like these cats more than the ones in Cats Organized Neatly. These are beautiful. But there's something about how these are contorted into the space. I particularly like the way that this white one looks like a medieval manuscript cat. There's something very charming about that. Yeah, you don't need to, like, move. The coffee cups aren't game objects that you need to, like, bring in or whatever. Ah, yeah, the pillows. Okay, I was missing out the pillows. Someone said pillows are available. I wasn't sure what you meant. It's not, I mean, it's still hard, but it's not as hard as I was making it by not using the pillows. When people you don't think cats are demonic. I don't know. I mean, there are still some cultures where people really don't like cats. That's great. I'm gonna Give that some points now. Some secret points in my secret voting corner on my secret other screen in my secret other desk. It's not on a different desk. Intuitive and self-explanatory. I'm going to give that middling points for that because the pillows. Big points on that for the visual style and for the like the general, you know, Moorishness of the activity. You will notice in the voting criteria I use the word compelling, and I really urge everyone, when you play a game and it's Moorish, please stop using the word addictive to talk about games. Well, most of all, please stop using the word addicting, because that's not a word, right? Things that make you feel addicted to them are addictive. Addicting is not a word. But I like the word compelling because addictive has such a negative connotation, and I think it really sort of belittles the experience of actually being addicted to something to talk about video games as being addictive. The animals have wandered all over the zoo. So Leo Mars code, 2 people doing art. Okay. Fair enough. But yeah, if you see me using the word compelling everywhere, it's because I'm trying to brainwash the game dev community into stopping using the word addictive. Because it's just as good. It means the same thing that you want it to mean. And it doesn't have that connotation. I've got a panda. You go over here. You go over here with the other panda. Where are we supposed to put them? This is very cute. Okay, we're supposed to put them in the right habitats. Was it ice at the top? Oh, it's ice down here. You've done a really nice thing of like overlapping some of the art so that I can see where I'm going before I get there. Okay. Pandas. Where is... I don't know if you go in the jungle or... Yeah, you go up here with the bamboo. You guys want to go in the desert, don't you? Monkey, you can come with me. We're going to take the... We're going to take the camels to the desert first. Oh, that's not the desert, that's the outback. Okay. The camels don't want to go to the desert. What's going on? Polar bear, you can stay there. You're a waterfall polar bear now. Oh. Oh, there's another one up here. I see. Monkey? This is very sweet. I'm going to be honest. I think the art style says it to a degree, but this doesn't feel like a kind of adult level activity. And that's fine. You know, we didn't specify. But given that we're in the business of making indie games here, it feels a little bit like a small kids game. And that's, you know, coherent at least because that's also what the art style suggests. So it's not necessarily a criticism, but you know, one of the things I've been hammering on about is when you make jam games, try and focus on entertaining the other jammers. Don't just focus. I mean, you can make whatever you want to make, obviously, but I think a really good way to start thinking like a game designer is in your game jam. When you're making your game, really, really focus on trying to entertain the person who's going to be playing the game at the end. Because that's more likely to make you win for a start. but it helps to get you into that empathy mode of like, what fun are we trying to produce? Because that was a very cute, charming little activity, but that's like a thing you would give like a toddler to do on an iPad. And, you know, taking the game as it is, everything fitted together, the art style matched that, but... You know, when we put in the voting criteria, one of the criteria is, would you buy a larger commercial version of this game? Well, the amount of people who are going to score it highly on that criteria is going to be quite low, because this isn't really an activity for adults, and the people who are going to be scoring your game will be adults. So they'll be looking at it and thinking, would I play a bigger indie game that was this? And the answer is going to be no, because it's not a sort of a template for a larger commercial indie game. It's something you would give a small child to play, but it's cute, and it's all kind of coherent with itself. Intuitive and self-explanatory, yes, it was. And you sort of used the fact that the animals fit in the different habitats to make it self-explanatory. So you used the theme to explain the game mechanics quite well. Okay, I've probably got time for like 2 or 3 more. I need to stop in 20 minutes. Because it's the weekend, the kids are here, it's a dad duty weekend. Pay to win mercenary tactics. Okay. I don't want to play a pay to win game. What are you asking me to do here? Right. Let's see what this is. What is happening? I feel like I missed some stuff that was probably supposed to be explanatory there, so I was faffing around with Windows. Let me rerun it. Okay, merchant getting beaten up by a goblin who's taking his money. Hero goes in there, turns into Kung Fu Man, goes over there, fights a guy, gets a coin. Coin goes over there. Okay, I feel like they're trying to do a tutorial through animations here. My avatar just gave birth to an archer by projectile babying them across the dungeon. Right, I see. Is that, are we done? It feels like there's some depth to this game, but there's perhaps too much depth to make it intuitive. Right, so these are the things I can spawn? And that's their attack patterns. And each one I spawn costs me money from here? Okay, yeah, I mean, it is reasonably intuitive. This guy attacks in all directions. So if I put him there, he's going to take both of those out. This guy goes there and punches that guy. This guy goes there, shoots that guy. And then I don't... Do I have enough money to play? No, I can't play anyone else, so... Yeah, I mean, it's a very inconsistent art style, isn't it? I'm not blade running anymore. So I've decided we're going to do a new bit of slang now as well, by the way. The process of trying to work out if things are AI or not, I'm going to start referring to it as blade running. Because that at least makes the process feel fun. And I've been doing a lot of it in the last week. Been looking at a lot of Steam games, and there are ones where, like, all of the art is clearly made with AI, but they've at least picked an aesthetic and tried to make the game feel like it's all anime or all a certain type of pixel art. And that almost bothers me less. But then there's the ones where it's very clearly like this big flashy screen of it, and then the rest of the game is just like very bad web dev UI and stuff. And that's the stuff where it's just like, what are you even doing? But yeah, the process of trying to work out if a game's art is AI now, we're calling it blade running. Because that makes it sound like a cool, fun activity rather than a particular type of tormenting drudgery that we're all part of. That's a cool mechanic. I quite like that. But the way the sort of the way the economy of the game worked was just like, okay, well, we're very quickly getting to a point where I can't put enough stuff down to counter what is spawning. So I wouldn't say it was super self-explanatory. I think they probably tried to make something that was slightly too complex for the brief. But it was, yeah, it was okay. Sky Island Tours. This is Walk McNelly. I'm definitely not a human void comf. It's more just the fact that we have to do it all of the time. Okay. This is a lovely bit of interface, isn't it? It's almost like someone who is a professional children's illustrator worked on this game. Or something like that. You want to see a tree? Bro wants to see trees. It's like, I long for the evergreens. Yeah, these assets are beautiful. You've got like a really good sense of like which bits of the game are interactive parts and which are more decorative in terms of like how much contrast and saturation they have and everything. He did want to go there, didn't he? Yeah. I don't want to take you there though. I'm gonna hijack you and take you to another island. He does yearn for the forest. There's a purple Puskins over there. Purple Puskins Express coming through. Well, well, well. If someone hasn't just got stuck here in their onesie. Wah, wah, wah. I want to go to Canada. Okay, I'll take you to Canada. Where's Canada? Oh, it's all the way over there. Just like on a real map. Come on. I go to Tim Hortons once and then they're like, oh, I'm going to get an airship to Canada now. Oh, I didn't expect that to be collidable. Here we go. There's a lovely little bonk when you hit things. It's enough for you to know that you made an error, but it's not so negative that it doesn't fit the game. Oh, there's an updraft now. I have to really push down to... there's a nerd over there. Let's go and get that nerd. This feels really, really lovely. This is such a good use of the kind of normal, sort of traditional floaty lander type game mechanics and putting it in something that's a little bit more flavorful. Hello? Are you in... Ah, it's the balloon cave. I want to go to Star. You want to go to space? Okay. Is it space or is it communism or is it both? You want to go to space communism. Okay. It's time to go to space communism. This is beautiful, the parallax in the background and everything as well. Really, really lovely. Uh-oh, there's a clown up there. Can't believe you're making me help a clown. Forcing me to help a clown on a stream is basically abuse. Who's this? Who's this down here? Robin straight up Tim Curry in the chat. Space! The background, the sky is changing. I feel like a nice little touch on this would be like the faster you're moving, zoom the camera out or something, so we get a little bit more of the context around us. See more of the world at once. You don't want to lose the like loveliness of these illustrations, but you could sort of zoom in and out in different contexts. I want to go to a cloud. All the way up there. I haven't had a break. I've been driving this sky taxi for weeks. I haven't had a break. I kind of want to see what happens if we fail. You've given me limited health resource. I'm gonna help you. But if that clown tries to get on this airship, that clown is going down. And I think that's reasonable because helping clowns is against my religious beliefs. Here we go. Right, we're going to see what happens if we lose all our health because I need to see it. I need to see how this game handles it because it's so gentle in its presentation. You want to go to Balloon, do you? Okay, come with me. Come with me to the balloon cave. It's just over here. It's just over here. This is where all of the balloons just... This is where we keep them. I didn't mind the mimes. A mime is like a French clown and that sort of... They cancel each other out. Ah, okay, they're not life, they're just satisfaction. So he's just a disgruntled clown now. The clown can never trust another taxi driver. One day a rain will come. And it will wash the clowns off these streets. I'm going to stop there because if I finish this run, I'll have helped a clown, and I don't want to anger God. That's lovely. Well done, Sky Island Tours. We're going to finish with one more. We're going to check out Perihelion as the last one for today, and I am probably not going to stream again until Tuesday, but we will get through all of them, or at least all of the ones that run on web. And all of the ones that I haven't been able to stream, that I might need to download and play offline, I will leave text feedback for those. Okay, Perihelion. This number here, this is the number that surprises me. So we got 100 entries. We got lots of entries. You know, I did 2 jams. Was it 1 jam last? Yeah, 1 jam last year. Was it 2 jams last year? They were both last year. This is the most entries we've had in a jam. But the thing that really gets me is that ratings number of just like how many instances there are of one of us sitting down and playing someone else's in the jams game. That's the thing that makes me super happy about all of this. Is the fact that 3,000 games have been played. Wow. Okay, Perihelion. We're going to click on a thing on a map. We're going to click on a little yellow thing and we're going to put it on a thing. And ooh, this is interesting. Are we trying to get in the black hole? Is that what we're doing? Cool. Oh. Oh, I had a little bit of a weird moment then because I was trying to see if I could pan the camera around and you can't because it's all on one screen. So, am I supposed to go through that? Am I supposed to pick that up? The way that this feels really cool to interact with. If you haven't played this, you can see the way that the gravity is acting on the line as I do that. And then the same thing happens, that kind of gravity on acting on the line. Watch as the right hand side of the line gets closer to the black hole and it sort of like pulls it in. That's really cool. That feels really nice to play around with. Boop. It feels like the same algorithm. If you've used Procreate and you've drawn with like an Apple Pencil or something, maybe if you're just drawing with your finger, but on a software like Procreate, you can put this kind of straightening effect on the line, and it means you have to kind of draw very slowly, but it feels like you're laying down a piece of string. It feels very similar to that. So we're trying to go through both of these, and our orange, this orange one, look, it's got a bigger gravitational field, so it bends it more and it goes out further. So we're trying to go through both of these. So we go that way. Go through both of them with using the first one, and then the second one is going to just do us a big curve back that way. It's great. Really lovely little puzzle. Feels really nice to do. I'd like to see what hard looks like in this game, though. But it looks like they've made quite a lot of levels for it already. Okay, so these stars are our resources, so we don't have... We've only got 4, so if we use one of these big guys, then we don't have enough to do... We only have enough to... So we could do two-star ones. So I'm not explaining the rules very well, but it's a little bit hard to turn into words. Maybe we need to just do it with the smaller planets. Like that. And that's the kind of way the game works. You're trying to finish the level with stars remaining, I guess. So I didn't spend all of my stars. Do I get a bonus for that or something? I don't know. See, I quite like the Procreate auto shapes because I can't draw straight lines at all. So I love that program for making like messy art, but trying to do like anything that looks like a vector type art style, I just can't do. So whoa. Oh, that's a planet that's already there rather than something I need to collect. This is cool. Okay, we're gonna do big bend around the corner there. Oh, that's not strong enough. Okay. Yep, the planets create curvature. It's very cool. I mean, it would be a cool thing to interact with just as a toy, but it works very well as a game as well, which is must have taken a little bit of experimentation to get it to do this. Level design for these is really good. There we go. 1 star left. I'm quickly learning that the big 3-star planet is never the answer, though. Thank you, Coast City. I did have to correct him a little bit in his comments because my professional experience is not in indie games. I was like, don't spread this disinformation about me, Uncle Tim. But yeah, that was wild. That was like a surreal career moment. Oh, look at this. What is going on here? I don't know, but let's watch it anyway. It's like some sort of gravity breaking satellite that we can put in, but it just... In that case, it did something very strange. Wow, I don't understand this at all. So where did I... You put it down and then you rotate it and then you see what it does, which is a little bit of a curveball to say the least. So if I put it up here, will it do what I want? Huh. I don't like this one as much because when you place it, you can't see how it's going to work. But maybe it will be a bit better once I've used it a little bit and I can understand and predict more. But this is hellish. Why would you do this to me? Okay. Up there? Where the indicator is. Oh, I didn't even read that as an indicator. That makes sense. Okay. So we put it there. There we go. We just got to find the exact right spot to bend it through. That's not too hard. Okay, that was easier than I expected it to be. Yeah, if you want to play this one yourself and you haven't yet, it's called Perihelion. It's very satisfying to interact with. I am going to try and finish it before the end of the stream, but I don't have much time. That looks like maybe that's the right way and we're supposed to do some weird thing like that, but there's nothing else to... we're supposed to use multiples of them. That's not it. That's not it. Wormhole. This is a really good showcase of all of the mechanics that could be in this game, and if you wanted to make it bigger and bigger, it already feels like there's a really good set of things. You could have just stuck on the same mechanic for a very long time, and you haven't, and it's kind of inspiring. Okay, we go straight through. We go through the wormhole. We come out here. We pick up the doodle what's it, and then we go round that way. There we go. You could give this some very sort of comedically dark Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy type lore or whatever, couldn't you? I mean, you will notice the only point of difficulty really has been when I didn't understand that the game was telling me what to do. Can I get it? I want to get it stuck in a loop. That would be funny. In a loop. In a loop. Yeah, it's really, it's a lovely project. It feels chilled out. There's no point where I'm ever like feeling frustrated with it, apart from the time when I couldn't work out what the tutorial was asking of me. It's really just lovely to interact with. Okay, we're not supposed to do that because we haven't picked up all the shinies yet, so we can we turn this one round? We can't turn that one around. It just only goes where it wants to go. So we do that. We don't have enough for a black hole then. Interesting. That'll do. Just send it off that way. I don't need to see it ever again. It's fine. Yes, of course. Just do stuff like that. Huh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to finish this, folks. I'm going to have to wrap it up there because I've promised to be offline 10 minutes ago. So thank you all for joining. I don't know how many left on the list that I haven't played yet. I feel like we've done 60% of them. Pretty good. Thank you for joining today. Hope you're having fun playing the games if you're still going through voting on stuff. Yeah, that one scores very highly for me for the actual gameplay, like the compellingness of the puzzles, the fact that I would want to keep playing that and keep doing that. That was very, very high in that one. Yeah, thank you for your games and have a good rest of the weekend and see you all soon.